Hey guys, what's up? It's a little bit late, so I kind of got to be quiet, but we're going to be talking about First Man, which I just got out of, kind of like what my impressions are of it, talking a little bit about the controversy surrounding it, and all that goodness. Now, right off the bat, I do want to say that I believe that the best moon movie is still Apollo 13. I think it really masters the best, like, training simulation, family entwined, and then the actual mission itself and the tension between them up in space and back at the NASA headquarters. I think that it really it perfectly pulled all that together, and I was really hoping that this movie was going to be just like I guess more than it was. I'm a huge Damien Chazelle fan. Whiplash is definitely one of my all-time favorite movies. La La Land stole my heart more than I expected it to. I didn't expect to like La La Land anywhere as near as much as I did. So I had like really high hopes going into First Man, and while there are a lot of things that are done well, Damien Chazelle is very good at crafting endings that just kind of leave people thinking, and that's definitely something that he managed to kind of carry over into this. But overall, the movie just really faced a lot of pacing issues. So for those of you who don't know, First Man is the biopic story of Neil Armstrong going to the moon, which oddly enough we haven't had yet, considering how groundbreaking that moment was in particularly American history. So for like Apollo 13 to be made before something about the Apollo 11 mission is kind of odd in my opinion. So like I mentioned, there were a lot of pacing issues. You could still pick out the central theme. I think a lot of it had to do with loss and him just getting used to the loss of people around him and still having that drive to continue on and finish the mission and just and get to the moon. No matter what kind of obstacle got in his way, he was still just very focused on that goal and moving forward. And in that respect, it definitely does kind of follow one of the similar mantras of Damien Chazelle. I was honestly waiting for them to like really throw in some jazz in here somewhere, which didn't really happen. But one of the main themes that I find throughout Damien Chazelle movies is somebody just kind of like following their passions in spite of everything else. So obviously, Neil Armstrong did not sacrifice his family to achieve his goals, but there were obviously a lot of struggles between him and his wife and his family, because when that is your calling, that is obviously going to take over a large chunk of your life. So I do think they did a really good job articulating that on screen. I just think the getting from point A to point B was rocky. The first 2/3 of the movie I find kind of dragged quite a bit. I don't think the pacing really worked with it, as I've mentioned multiple times. It just didn't flow together smoothly. I don't know if they were just trying to put too much of the buildup into it until it gets to his actual Apollo 11 mission, and they just didn't really know how to pace it properly. But it just kind of removed the intensity of everything. I never really felt like there was like anything at stake, even though people are literally dying, and these are based on real people that have died. But I still just didn't feel that gripped tension that I'm used to in a Damien Chazelle movie. Like even La La Land, which is like mostly a musical, managed to like really grip me in a certain way, and I think First Man just kind of lacked a little bit of that structure that it needed to really just sing it home. Sing It Home is an amazing movie. That's not to say it's bad. I definitely do want to see it again, but I will say that it's my least favorite and honestly probably the worst of Whiplash, La La Land, and First Man. It's not bad by any means, just average compared to what I know he can produce. I wouldn't say it's an average movie, but it is average to what I'm used to from him. So that was kind of disappointing. So like my first thought when walking out was that Apollo 13 was still a more compelling story about some kind of mission involving the moon, even though it was failed. It was way more compelling. It was way more tense, even though way worse things happen in the progression of getting, Neil Armstrong and that first crew on the moon. Now let's talk about the controversy, and this is a mixed thing because I know that the filmmakers definitely stirred the pot there, intentionally probably to just generate more buzz about the movie. I know that we're kind of going into Oscar seasons and stuff, and any kind of edge you can get, they're gonna go for it. But a ton of people were angry because just the physical scene of him putting the flag on the moon is not there. You see the flag on the moon. You very clearly see the flag on the moon. It's very frequently mentioned that this is this is a space race to beat the Russians. So they have that American spirit there, and they even go the step further. They actually discuss the fact that a lot of people thought that funds were being misused for NASA that could have been going to help people that were hungry, people with medical bills, and that just that tension of the general public as more and more of these like pre-missions and buildups failed, people were getting more and more hesitant towards like what is the value of sending people to the moon. And I do like that they showed that. Again, it was just kind of issues with how it came together. But people getting mad about just that scene not being there, I've mentioned this a couple times. People who call other people snowflakes are usually some of the whiniest people out there, because anybody complaining about that scene, not just that one scene, you see the flag on the moon, it's clearly just, it's America-centric because it's a space race, and that's before people even saw the movie. They're freaking out about it, they're getting outraged, and I know that we are kind of in like an outrage culture era, and a lot of that outrage is totally founded and valid and productive, I find. I do think that it is important to be able to get upset about things that are wrong in the world, but it's like I mentioned in my video talking about the person who was trying to say that Hot Ones was against women or damaging to women. That is just choosing to get upset about something in such a ridiculous way that it pulls away any meaning from actual serious issues. And I feel like that is kind of this situation. When you're gonna get so worked up because just the physical scene of him planting the flag isn't there, you're fucking stupid. I'm just gonna say it. But then again, I know that the filmmakers mentioned the fact specifically that that scene wasn't in the movie and kind of mentioned it a lot, and then even went that one step further saying that, like, well, Neil always worded it as more of like a human achievement, not really an American achievement, even though they even have a scene where like a French woman's like, America never fails. We knew they were gonna do it. So it's like your film is almost countering exactly what you were trying to say for like the publicity. But I do agree. I think that making at least the argument that like he said, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Obviously, it does make it seem like it's more like a mankind achievement and that he never really considered himself a hero, but I don't think you needed the physical scene of the flag going in to show, patriotism and an American success. Like, they make it abundantly clear who did this. Abundantly. So I guess that's the basics. It was a pretty good movie. I wouldn't necessarily like rush out to see it necessarily. I know that apparently it will look better in IMAX. Just the way that it was filmed. Unfortunately, we don't have IMAX theaters here, so I kind of feel cheated that I didn't get to see the full visual scope of what would have been in an IMAX theater. I do feel personally cheated on that, and I think that probably would have nudged it up a bit for me. I don't really like movies that specifically become better because of the visuals, but at the same time, like solid cinematography, solid camera work, and solid just visuals in general is something that goes into making a good movie. But I think it should be like in addition to the flow of the story, obviously. Like I've said this before, it doesn't matter how much you pretty up something that has a bad plot, it still has a bad plot. That's the nice way to put it. But that is gonna do it for today's video. I don't really know what I would give it a rating. Maybe like a 3 out of 5? 2.75 out of 5, something like that. I think that's the proper rating scale. Maybe like a 75%, I'd say. Again, I'd have to see it again, but let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below if you do end up seeing it. I will be seeing Bad Times at the El Royale this weekend as well. I was gonna double feature it tonight, but Jen wants to see it and she couldn't tonight, so I have to wait till this weekend. But if you guys are interested in seeing my thoughts on that after I see the movie, I usually only do them if I see the movie like the first couple days it came out. But if you guys are interested in that, maybe we can get one of those out this weekend. So let me know in the comment section down below if that's something that would interest you. But thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all later.